What's up, guys? CryptoSavy here. Hope everybody's having a fabulous Saturday. I want to wish everyone a great weekend. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin and Litecoin and why I believe it's still possible to see a massive rally by the end of the year. We'll take a look at that. We're going to start out in the bigger time frames, move on into the smaller time frames. But I do want to remind you guys, definitely leave a comment in the video for your chance to win the free t-shirt. Make sure you're subscribed and you hit the thumbs up. That'll get you entered to win the free t-shirt. We'll do the drawing tomorrow. We'll pick a random comment. You'll have 24 hours to get a hold of me on my email to get the t-shirt. Also, I want to remind you guys there's a 100% free Discord group in the description below the video. Definitely check it out. Awesome community, guys. If you love crypto, you'll love the community. There's also some other affiliate links down there that really help the channel out. They also can give you some benefits. Some of them give you bonuses. Some of them give you free crypto. Definitely check it out. And we're also going to talk about the exchange hack a little bit and what you can do to keep your crypto safe. Let's get on with the video. All right, guys, as always, I want to start out by saying I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is my opinion and my view of the market only. Anybody that's doing any trading or investing in this market, I suggest you do your own due diligence and your own research, as this market is extremely volatile and risky. Also, keep in mind, it's still a speculative market. Don't put in more than you're willing to lose. And with that being said, if you're new here, hit the subscribe button in the lower right-hand side of the screen. Tick the notification bell to get you notified when I post new videos. Smash those likes. Leave your comment, which also gets you entered to win the free t-shirt. And let's see what's going on. I do daily updates every single day, so make sure you're subscribed to get the notifications when I post. All right, so looking at Bitcoin on the weekly, just want to take a look at this real quick. This is 2017, and we opened November, the second week of November in 2017 at about $5,800. From that point to the middle of December, we went 242%, which got us up to our all-time high of 19,900-ish, depending on which exchange you're on. That I do believe that is a possibility. We may have an end-of-the-year rally this year, and I just playing around with it from the first week of November, which we started around $8,800. And bring that up to the top. If we went up 240%, that would be around the $30,000 range. And just to show you guys, I also had a higher target for the end of the year. It looks like a little less likely that that's going to hit, but I am not taking it off the table yet. But let's take a look over here. If we put the Fibonacci extension on this bull flag that I have drawn in here, around the middle to end of September or 2017, and we run that up, that got us to the 3.618, which was our all-time high there. Let's just take a look over here and do the same thing with this bull flag that I have mapped out here, which is way bigger. I do believe it'll be a way bigger move, and this is partially why I believe we can still see our all-time highs this year, if not the first quarter of next year. I know people don't think we can have it before the halving. We've only had two halvings. We've only had two halvings. I mean, you can't judge everything off two things. So anyways, so I did the same thing, Fibonacci extension from here. If we went up to the same thing, the 3.618, that does get to the $46,000 range. So I do still believe, you know, there's a small possibility we could hit that 46,000. Obviously, there's no guarantee, but I do still believe it is definitely possible to see a new all-time high this year. But this next week or two is going to be, you know, a big deal. We'll really have to watch what's going on. It'll tell us more after that. I know some people are thinking we're just going to go sideways for quite some time, like in 2016. I believe there's too much going on in crypto. I don't think that we're going to go sideways for that long, if at all. So anyways, and after a big move like this and a big consolidation, this is all for a reason, and I think we will see some results from it. So let me get this off here now. And as you can see here, our volume is still declining while we're in this move. I do believe this to be a big bull flag, which we have popped out of, and we came back down twice now to test it for support in the weekly. We could have a big move this weekend, but I'm looking more towards the beginning of the week because it's possible we go down a little bit more, and we'll talk about that in the other time frames. I do want to remind you guys, check out my wife's webpage, anchorimage.com. There's a link to it in the description below the video. This is where you would pick the free t-shirt if your comment is picked tomorrow. Make sure you watch the video tomorrow. But there's quite a bit of stuff in here: t-shirts, hats, beer koozies, coffee mugs, aluminum signs. She can put any crypto you want and any saying you want or anything, family pictures, whatever. So if you're looking for Christmas gifts, a good place to shop. There's also hoodies that aren't in there yet. There's some keychains and some other stuff. You can get a hold of her in the contact to talk about it. But anyways, I just wanted to point that out real quick. Let's get into what else is going on. If you guys were watching yesterday, I had put my trade idea, which ended up being a good short. And we'll talk about those every once in a while. I'll try to bring up good trade ideas when I see them. There's a couple I'm going to bring up here, even one with Ethereum, so make sure you stick around. But let's look at what's going on here. In the daily, we're going to take some measured moves here. And looking at this as a bull flag, which I still am doing, that we popped up out of, came back down, testing it for support. If we did a measured move, measuring it just as a falling channel to where we broke out, gets us to the 13.6. That would be the first point of heavy resistance, in my opinion. And guys, remember, don't take this as financial advice. I'm just showing you my opinion and my views of the market. But if we looked at this as a flag pull from the breakout over here in May, that would get us up to the 17,700 range. The next one would be the breakout from April 1st over here, measuring this whole thing as the flag pull, putting it up to the top, gets us up to around the 19,000 to 19,200 range. So I do believe there's a huge move coming, guys, and it's to the upward direction, in my opinion. I know a lot of guys are calling for 6,000, 5,000, 4,000, 4,200. I don't see that happening, guys. Not after all this. We didn't do all this and consolidate to go back down further. There's too much going on with Bitcoin, in my opinion, for that to be the case. Let's take a look at the RSI. Looking at the RSI, I have this falling wedge drawn in here. Now, like I said, it's possible we do go down further. And whoops, in the RSI, that would be coming down to retest this falling channel that we popped out of right here. That is possible. Keep that in mind. We'll take a look at it. Let's take a look at the 4-hour. Whoops. Take a look at the 4-hour RSI now. And take a look at what's going on here. One more thing I wanted to talk about real quick, guys. Your cryptos, if you're not trading them, they shouldn't be on an exchange. You should keep them in your own hard wallet. Right here, we had a exchange get hacked, Vindex. But if you look in 2019, Cryptopia, BitThumb, DragonX, Binance, BuyTrue, Bitpoint, and Vindex have all been hacked for millions of dollars. Keep your cryptos safe. Keep them off the exchanges. Not your keys, not your crypto. If you're not trading them, they shouldn't be on an exchange. I do have links to get your own Ledger hard wallet or ELLIPAL hard wallet in the description below the video. You don't have to use my links, guys, but definitely get yourself a hard wallet and get your cryptos off the exchanges. I cannot stress that enough. Back to here. 4-hour RSI, we have this broadening wedge, rising broadening wedge. And we have this falling channel in here, which we have made our second touchdown here. Like I said, it is possible one more tick down would be testing this again before our move up. Let's look at it in the price action and see what we're looking at. All right, so we've already taken a look at our bigger targets up here. Let's take a look at these targets now that I have here. Looking at this, what is going on here. And if you guys watched yesterday's video, I had said I was going to put a short in right under this triangle and put my stop loss above it. And we were talking about hitting the daily RSI, which was right here. It was around a 86.92 range when I had said that yesterday. We dipped a little below it, but that would have been a good place to close your short. Go back over to the 4-hour. And if you guys want to learn how to use the trading exchange and how to use leverage, I do have a tutorial. I will put it up top for Bybit exchange. And I also have a link down below. If you sign up with Bybit through my link, you get a $60 bonus. There's also another link down there for Prime XBT. They give you a 35% bonus for signing up if you want to have 2 different options on trading. But yeah, anyways, what I'm looking at now is a possible fall right here. And we'll go into the 1 hour to look at that. But I do want to point out, we will put in the Fibonacci retracement from where we broke and done our huge move here. We'll go from the swing low to the swing high. And the 0.618 Fibonacci is at the 8,500. If we go down from here, guys, I do believe that 85 to 85.30 range is going to be our bounce here. Obviously, the 0.786 is still possible around the 8,000. But I'm looking more for the bounce here and a continuation up from there. Now, we'll look at the targets. Smaller time frame targets going up. Then we'll go into the 1 hour and I'll show you that what I'm looking at to get us down to that 85 if we do go down. Now, let's look at what we have here. If we look at this as a falling triangle or descending triangle that we broke out of with the fake out, just like the big one we had over here and the bigger one we had at the beginning of the year. I do believe it's going to be another fake out and come back up. Let's look at this 9,300 here. Is going to be, I believe, the point. Once we break that and get support, then we'll move up to these higher targets. I do want to, I still have this 97 in here. I think we're going to see heavy resistance there. Once we get support, then we can go up to these higher ranges. But looking at this as the top of the triangle, we could also move this down and it would line up to be a bull flag if we put it to these wicks here. You can see it comes down and that 8,500 is going to hit that right there if we do get down there. So it makes a lot of sense. You can put it, if I clone this line, put it up here, and I guess that's kind of messy. Let me make these thicker so you can see them. There. This one there. But yeah, this I'm looking at as a falling channel possibility. If we do come down and get this 85, that'll verify that. And then we, like I said, our measured move, we could use this also in that channel and get another measured move. We broke up above this 9,300 and broke out of this, would get us up. It's going to be somewhere between the 10,000 and 10,300 range. There's a few different ways to get those targets, but that is the idea. So if we looked at this whole thing as a falling, let me put a line in there just so you can see it. We looked at this whole thing as the triangle, or we could look at it as a wedge using this bottom line. I know it sounds confusing, but if you guys watch my channel, you pretty much get it. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up and subscribe. So if we use this line down here, this one coming off the top, and the measured move of it as a triangle or a wedge, that would get us up to the 10,700. As you guys know, I have this 10,900, which was old resistance back here. That's most likely going to give us some trouble. Maybe some resistance, come back down to the 9.3 and then pop through and use this as support to go up to our higher highs. Next measured move. Well, we could measure it off of this break also, right here, measuring this triangle, and that gets us up to the 10.9. So either way, we're looking at the same area here, looking at this falling channel. The break of the 93 there gets us to 10.9, and if we use the lower one down here, it gets us to that 10.6. So that's what I'm looking at there. The next measured move is from the breakout down here where we started this huge rally. And guys, everybody's getting all paranoid like this is going to drop forever. We had a huge rally. We need a correction. The market can't just shoot up like that and continue shooting up. So this is healthy in my opinion. So if we looked at this as a bull flag, looking at it as a triangle with this line here, the measured move would get us up to around the $12,100 range, which would line up with old resistance back here. Now I can use this also from the 10-3 at the top of this. I'm going to change the color of these lines, guys, because I know it's probably kind of confusing. Put these blue ones in here. All right, so using that same flagpole and looking at this blue here as the bull flag, put the measured move to right around here. The 9,300 is where I would expect to be breaking this. That gets us up to 12,300, which also lines up with old resistance. So we got confluence there, and that's what I'm looking at. I do believe we are going to be heading up soon, guys. Let's go into the 1 hour, and I'll look at that move. So right here, if I was going to trade it, like I said, I got Bybit links down below. Also Prime XBT if you guys want to try trading. But the measured move of this, guys, would be taking this as a flagpole from the break right here where we had this last breakdown. And if we were to break down here, I would put my short. It would be a small play too, but I would put my short just below this line here off of these two wicks. And I'd put my stop loss just above it, so you risk very little in case it does a fake out, pops back up. So the measured move off of that would, depending on where we break out, it varies a little bit, but somewhere between the 84.90 and 85.30 range where I have this blue line here. And if it was to break up from there, we could be going up, test the top of this again around the 91 to 92 range. Same thing there. If we broke above here, I would put a long in here with a stop loss just below it and collect profits in here. But remember, guys, if you do that and it moves up, it's good to move your stop loss up into profit. So no matter what happens, you'll be into profit. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at there. Remember, let's go back to the 4 hour and look at this line here. This is from this wick here where we broke down. So I believe if we could break above that 89.22 range, and then obviously the 92 range after that. But right in here, if we could break this line, we're going to move up to at least retest this here around 91.50 or so, or 9100. So anyways, that's what I'm looking at there. The RSIs, as you can see, the 8 is crossing the 200 there, which is kind of bearish, and that steers me towards possibly going down to this 8,500. Let's look at the daily RSIs. As you can see, they've all flipped over. We almost had a cross of the 21 and the 55. If we get this push up today, this could turn us around. But like I said, it could happen today. I'm not saying that we can't go up, but I do think we most likely come back down and test that $85 range again. Like I said, not necessary. This may shoot up. We may erase that whole move yesterday. We'll wait and see. But if that does happen, that'll be pretty bullish. That'll get that 21 to turn back around and cross this 55. Let's look at Litecoin. Litecoin on the daily, looking at this as a falling wedge, still measured move being $114. Let's zoom in a little bit and look at a trade thing here. Now, like I said, we'll look at a trade idea on Ethereum too here in a minute. But looking at this as a ascending triangle, the measured move off of that would get us up to around the 74 range, but I do have this target at the 72.79, and that was looking at this as a flagpole. And if you can see this orange line in here, let me zoom in. Right here, looking at that as the bull flag and where we broke out, that gets us up to around that. Actually, it would be up a little bit. That gets us around that 72.79 range, which also lines up with the 200 EMA in the daily. So that's still a possibility, and this would be the same way, guys. I will put my, if I don't trade Litecoin, I hold it. I hold Bitcoin too, but I also trade Bitcoin. But if I were going to trade it, I would look for a break of this 64.40 range, have a long in there, and have my stop loss just below this trend line, which would be around the $64 range. So you'd have a very minimal risk there. And once it got up into profit, like I said, move the stop loss into profit. But I'd be aiming for at least a 72.79 if we break up from there. Now the other measured moves, if we use that, just measuring it as a triangle, And if we were to break down, gets us down to around the $49.70 to $50 range. And if we did the measured move of the whole flagpole in a breakdown from here, that would get us down to the 45.88 range. Now, we drew a trend line off of these 2 wicks here. That would actually, this is the daily, so if we broke out tomorrow, that would line up with that, and that would be around the 45 range. So that's the worst case scenario if we break down out of that. Let's go to smaller time frames and see what's going on. First, we'll go into the RSI. Looking at the RSI, we have this falling channel that we came out of this rising channel into a falling channel, broke out of it, came back down. Now we're getting resistance underneath it again. It also looks like a rising wedge here. This being the daily, if we get a close up above this, I think we'll get another push up to here on the RSI. Look at the 4-hour RSI, but keep in mind, rising wedge, being we are at resistance here also, we could get a drop down here. That would be the prices we just discussed. Let's go into the 4-hour. 4-hour, we have a falling channel here. We've gotten resistance, resistance, support, and support. And like I said, we could get this one more push down before a move up. If we do break down in the bottom of this in the 4-hour, that's going to be, you know, the bigger move down. Let's look at the price action and see where we're at. All right, same thing. This is the bull flag we were just looking at, that we just did the measured move a little bit ago, up to that 72.79. Like I said, that's where I would be aiming for if we broke this. Also, I have a measured move here. We talked about this on the live stream last night, looking at this as a falling channel that we have broken out of, came back down, tested for support. The measured move of that breakout gets us up, back up to this resistance line at the 64.30, 64.40 range, right in there. So that, you know, there's a lot of confluence there. But like I said, if we drop down below this, then we're looking at these lower targets down here. Same thing as in Bitcoin. If we look at the Fibonacci retracement, this is the 0.5 Fibonacci, 0.618 down to the 53.84, and then 0.786 at the 50.93. So these are where I am looking for support. And if not, we did talk about the $44 range, which would line up with these wicks here. So it is possible for us to get down to that 44 if Bitcoin takes a, you know, if Bitcoin drops to 85 or so, we may see something like that. But in my opinion, I don't believe we're going to be going that low, guys. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Let's look at the 1 hour, see if that's telling us anything. I don't know if I've looked at the 1 hour RSI. I have. So looking at the 1 hour RSI, we've broken back down in this falling wedge that I've had drawn in here. So again, that makes me think it is possible that we have further down to go. Unless we come back up in this 1 hour and break back through the top of this, and the measurement of the breaking that wedge would be in line with this 94 on the RSI, which way back here we were tapping on it back here. So it is a possibility we continue up from here. But in my opinion, I believe Bitcoin's most likely going to go back down to that 85. Again, guys, nobody knows for sure. I could be wrong. We could continue up from here. But if we don't see a rally this weekend in the next, you know, between today and tomorrow, I do believe next week we're most likely going to see a nice rally and a nice push up. Yeah, that's where I'm at with that. So let's look at Ethereum real quick. Just another trade idea. We talked about this measured move on Ethereum last night in the, look at the RSI real quick. Last night in the live stream, the RSI seems to be on a descending channel, possibly. And we'll look at the measured moves. Obviously, if we continue down, we'll be looking at the breakdown of the move I'm going to show you. And if we continue up, it'll be the breakup of the move I'm showing you. So here it is. There's a couple different ways to look at this, but if I were to trade this, in which you can trade Ethereum on Bybit, actually trade Ethereum, just so you guys know, like I said, there's a link below the video in the description and in the comment section to the Bybit for a $60 bonus. But if we looked at this here from the breakout down here as a flagpole, looking at this as a big flag, if we were to break up over this trend line, depending on where it breaks, I would put my long just above it with my short or my stop loss just below it. And like I said, that'll protect you if it does a fake out, comes back down. You risk very little to have a nice move up. So if it was to break up and start getting a nice move up, then move your stop loss into profit. But the measured move of that, measuring this as a flagpole, is the $227 range. Then the next way to measure it would be just measuring it as a symmetrical triangle. And if we broke up to around the 218. So if I was to play this, I would most likely around 215, I would probably be collecting profits, some anyway, and then maybe some more up here. But if it was to break down, the measured move off of that is around the 147, 148 range, depending on where it breaks this line. Same thing. If I was, it's the beauty about trading on Bybit and stuff. You can actually make money when it goes down, but I would put a short just below this line. And if it broke down, it would activate the short. I would have a stop loss just above it. And like I said, if that became a fake out, it would protect you from losing a lot of money. If you guys are going to use leverage trading or trading at all, make sure you use stop losses. Don't get wrecked. Don't lose all your money. Make sure you practice, and don't use high leverage. Don't do it. It is extremely dangerous, especially if you're new. But everything's, everyone's opinion, or everyone's responsible for their own decisions. So be wise. And if we take this measured move right here, just as the triangle, that brings us down to right around the 155 range. Again, depending on where it breaks out there. So yeah, that's where I'm at with Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum. So I do want to remind you guys, check out my wife's webpage, inkyourimage.com. There is a link to it in the description below the video. Thank you guys for watching. Click the CryptoSavy logo above my head to get you subscribed to the channel. Tick the notification bell to get you notified. I do daily videos every single day, guys, and try to keep you as updated as I can on the market with my views. And yeah, smash the likes, leave your comments for a chance to win that free t-shirt, and I will see you tomorrow.